I originally went to Washington with a congressional fellowship. I was to spend a year on Capitol Hill studying the House and Senate, and then return to the University of Wisconsin, complete my PhD in political science, and become a professor. But that didn't work out quite the way I'd planned. That 12-month stay turned into 40 years. And I found that I enjoyed being actively involved in politics and government more than I did teaching about it. Rumsfeld was a junior member of Congress in 1968 when I arrived. He came and spoke to the group of congressional fellows. He was part of the orientation session. I decided I'd like to go to work for him, so I went and interviewed with him. He doesn't remember the first meeting the way I do. I remember it as having been kicked out of his office after about 10 minutes. He denies everything. I first took my wife Lynn out on a date when she was 16 years old. I just turned 17. We were juniors in high school at Natrona County High School in Casper, Wyoming. At crucial moments in my life, Lynn's been there when it really mattered. Just last year, I ended up with end-stage heart failure, required major heart surgery, and 5 weeks in the intensive care unit. And I'm here today in part because of her willingness to set aside all of her concerns and activities and provide, hour by hour care for me as I recovered from that difficult period. And she's the most important person in my life. I had a pretty good overview, if you will, of President Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and both President Bushes. Each of them was a remarkable individual. Each of them governed at a different period in our history. I'm reluctant to say one was better than the other, partly because they had to deal with different kinds of circumstances. President Ford, as the man in charge when the Nixon administration left office and he had to take over suddenly with little preparation in the midst of a grave constitutional crisis, or President Reagan, who really came in and presided over a period, I thought, of great growth and development in terms of conservative point of view and philosophy for the United States government, was there as the Cold War began to wind down. George H.W. Bush, who supervised everything from Desert Storm to the reunification of Europe and the end of the Soviet Union, to his son and my leader when I was vice president, George W. Bush, in terms of all that we had to deal with in that administration. 9/11 to the dangers that we faced and had to overcome in the global war on terror.